like about this kid? He's studying to be a cheesemaker.
Yeah.
Now, is that a dangerous kid or what?
Yeah. Killer.
You know, he's working his way through school so he can make cheese. And he's out on the highway and he's looking for disabled people to kill. What are you kidding me?
Actually
Welcome back to Talking Racine, and boy, did we have a good show for you today. Unfortunately, there was a camera malfunction.
It was.
So here's take two. And the same people are here. George Myers.
Yeah, still around.
Jim Spodek. And Dr. Ken Jorgen. And we're going to talk about the John Dickert trial. I don't know. Did you people read the newspaper and see what happened in the John Dickert trial? Well, he was completely acquitted. Well, no, it wasn't an acquittal. He was found innocent, right?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. And, boy, I'm wondering, what the hell was that prosecutor doing?
He was actually a hero. He wasn't fighting with anybody. He was defending this vicious young man who's,
defending
130, 140 pounds, something like that?
Well, yeah, with wet clothes on.
Yeah. Who was going to get out of his car and go attack this helpless old person that was in John Dickert's car.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't going to attack John.
No.
John was taking film of him on the road. Yeah. But he wasn't going to attack him. He was going right to the disabled guy.
Yeah, he wanted to go after the disabled guy.
John defended him, though.
Yeah, John kept him in the car, pushed him back in his car, wouldn't let him get out, so that he would go run into the store after the guy. The guy had already, the old disabled person had already gone into the store, and he didn't want.
I was worried.
John didn't want that young kid going in and running into the store after him.
So he came out. So John pulls up. Now the kid the article says he followed him in. Well, Christian Reynoso, who is the young man that got into a fight with John Dickert, actually worked there. Yeah, so he came to go to work. Yeah. He just happened to have John Dickert there. So John was, like you said, taking film over pictures of him on the streets.
Driving down the road. Yeah, very safely down the road with one arm looking at the car driving next to him.
Yeah, why didn't they charge him with that? Isn't there a law against using your cell phone? There should be a law against taking movies while you're driving.
But there was a higher purpose there because John was taking Dickert on pictures of how bad the guy next to him was driving.
Right. Yeah. Right.
How dangerous he was driving. That was the real. So he had to get pictures.
So he pulls in a parking lot. He gets out of the vehicle, goes around to the passenger's or the driver's side of Reynoso, and starts to pull him out of the car, push him in the car. He's saying he was pushing him in the car to keep him away from the guy that was disabled that he was taking to the grocery store, who had already been gone into the grocery store.
John, I didn't know John was such a great storyteller.
Oh, my God.
He's the best.
It's amazing. He said, fabrication of that.
What I want to know is why didn't they have Reynoso in there as a witness to the event?
Well, I'll tell you what. Dickert claimed that he felt he had to go between Reynoso and his disabled passenger or the teen would kill him.
What exactly do you recall happening? I know that this encounter started out on the road. You want to explain sort of what happened there?
Yeah, so I was driving to work, and John Dickert seen me pass somebody up, and he didn't like it, I guess, so he started recording.
Now, you didn't know at the time it was John Dickert, though, right?
No, at the time.
It was basically this guy was passing me by, and he was... Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, he got mad, I guess, because I passed somebody up, and he started recording me while he's driving, and I'm just like, well, what are you doing? Was kind of confused about it.
What do you have, his phone up there?
Yeah, he had his phone
in the window.
Recording me, like trying to take pictures of my speeding up.
You're alongside of him while he's driving forward. He's
trying
photographing
to take pictures. You. And when we get to the light, right by Speedway, and he goes ahead, and then I stay back like three cars lengths, or there's 3 cars separating us now. He turns into the Piggly Wiggly parking lot, and that's where I got to turn in for work too.
Whoa!
And that's kind of where it all started. So,
well, you work at Chick-fil-A, is it, or
no? I work at Panda Express.
Panda Express. Yeah.
So he turned in at the same place that you had to turn in. You weren't following him or anything.
I was just going to work.
Yeah.
But I seen he pulled into the Piggly Wiggly parking lot, and I was just gonna I was like, all right, this is the same guy. So I pulled in right next to him. On my further side, so my driver's, he was on my passenger side. pretty much I was just gonna tell him, you know, why was you recording me? Delete the video. I seen he was like a grown, like older man, so I wasn't expecting much like of a altercation to happen. So kind of he got out of his car. I put my window down. He leaned up against my door. I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but I remember I told him to get off my car. He was just talking, smack, you know, just kind of yelling. I was yelling at him too. And that's when I seen another person in the car, and he was kind of walking towards the car too. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? What's your buddy doing? I was just like still confused at the moment, you know, just like not knowing what's going on really. That's when I see his buddy keep walking to the store. All right, and John Dickert, or the guy, he over to my side of the door, opens or doesn't try to open it, but he's just sitting there, just like still kind of like saying things. I can't really hear him. I don't remember exactly what he was saying, but he was outside my door and I was just looking at him. That's when I got out. He kind of grabbed me from the neck, pushed me up against my car, and I didn't expect that at all. So I just started
responding. You wanted to get him off.
Wow. Oh, I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Wow, hold on a second.
Where
I need something to help me out.
I can't believe they allowed that statement to be even entered into the court record.
My gosh!
Nobody challenged that.
Yeah. Well, what kind of a prosecutor was this? This was a setup. You know, it was a setup.
Yeah.
You had
prosecutor. How about the the prosecutor. That's right. Yeah, how did the prosecutor let that go? You're right.
But you had the judge Nielsen, you had the prosecutor, you had Cafferty as Dickert's attorney, and of course
no witnesses, and apparently they didn't show the full video evidence either.
So you know. The car comes in, there's a black spot or something where, well, I'm thinking, well, you got out of the car and you show up at Reynoso's door of the driver's side, but he didn't cause there was nothing there. You know, He was protecting the guy who had already beelined it for the store.
Proactively protecting him.
Oh my gosh. And of course the prosecutor, who obviously was, it's almost like a fight where you take a dive, you know. I mean, unbelievable. If this guy actually, couldn't prosecute
listen,
this.
If I ever get arrested, that's the guy I want prosecuting my case.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to know, you know, how do you get to him beforehand?
Oh, my
exactly. Is it just a conversation, or was it?
You have to be mayor first. That's the way you get to him.
Anyway, this Dickert walks, and Reynoso now, I guess, apparently is his court case. I mean, court case. Why should he even be brought?
Why don't they just drop it? You know, it's ridiculous.
Racine. It's almost like a comedy skit.
Well, you know what I think? They're going to use that second trial as the ultimate cleanse for John Dickert. I mean, he's been found not guilty. But now they want to cleanse his reputation, remove all tarnish. They're probably going to go after Reynoso really hard.
Yeah. Well, he's a killer. Tom said he's a team killer.
Team
killer on the loose.
You're talking about cleansing his reputation. Remember the article. The article manufactures this farce. See,
it's a whole narrative about his political career.
But then, did you notice everything after that? It was kind of like, after giving you this farce, they had to make it believable. So now we're going to give this history, and it shows John Dickert in all these various places of accepting awards and
kissing babies,
and all this type of stuff.
I didn't see any pictures where he was in there in the cemetery trying to sell that plot.
The Indian Mound?
The Indian Mound, yeah.
Missed that one, yeah.
That was a highlight of his career.
Machinery Row, missed that one.
Yeah.
Well, I think they did have a picture of him at the Machinery Row, that famous picture where all the dignitaries were there.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Cory was there.
Just the whole newspaper article combined with the trial itself, it's one great big
fantasy.
Yeah.
It was like reading a comic book.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we've got some material, and we're gonna let Reynoso go to court, and hopefully they just drop it on this young man.
That's what should. Yeah.
I mean, it's a joke, and the prosecutor. I don't know.
If you hear it get dismissed, just realize the city finally, or the county, the DA finally wised up. It had nothing to do with the setup, because it was a total joke. Don't think that because what you read in the paper represents something that really happened at that parking lot. That's all.
Yeah.
Are you impugning the reputation of the Journal-Times?
Oh, I would never do that.
They have no reputation. You know what I like about this kid? He's studying to be a cheesemaker.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is
Now, there's
that a dangerous kid or what?
Yeah.
Killer.
You know, he's working his way through school so he can make cheese. And he's out on the highway and he's looking for disabled people to kill. What are you kidding me?
He's actually working to be a master cheesemaker. That's his goal. Give the kid credit.
Oh my
Good
God.
for him.
Yeah. Well, it's Cheeseville. It's
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Exactly.
It's a good.
What did somebody? Now you were talking earlier, and somebody talked about coming across the state line, or was it you that they came
the
through
cheddar curtain?
The cheddar curtain,
Yeah.
the state line between Illinois and Wisconsin.
And the
I'd never heard that
designation of our
before. I
state
didn't
line,
either.
cheddar
That's funny as hell.
curtain.
We crossed the cheddar curtain. Oh well.
All right.
So much for that. We'll keep you posted. Did you know when is his trial? I haven't
End
seen
of
his-
June.
End of June.
Renoso's, yep.
Well, that'll give us something to talk about.
Yeah.
Now today we're stuck with this complaint that's been filed against the city of Green Bay for the shenanigans that went on with the Zuckerbucks
Right.
during the November election. And it's filed by two different groups, the Voter Alliance of Wisconsin.
Well, actually, it's filed in Racine. There's one filed, the same one that was filed in Green Bay has now been filed in Racine.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
This one's against
Yeah,
Cory
with
Mason, Tara
Tar
Coolidge.
Coolidge and the Wisconsin Election Commission Administrator Megan Wolf.
Right.
So
Now, it's two groups that are doing the suit. Voter Alliance of Wisconsin, which I kind of understand.
Right.
That makes sense. What is the Amistad Project?
that's some kind of historical reference, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm
Well,
going to look it up when I get home.
it's a group that's filed, election law. They take on constitutional issues. Is
Yeah.
really, I think, their forte. And so they see that there's a constitutional issue with the Zuckerbucks coming into Racine and Madison.
Yeah,
and,
you
and Green Bay.
mispronounced that. It's the Zuckerbuck.
Yeah, Zuckerbuck. Yeah. But I think
I want to make sure
their complaint
these nicknames right.
their complaint is really not about the money being given to the municipalities. Their complaint is
Yeah.
the contract
Yeah.
that was signed by the mayors of these communities to be held,
And
by these dollars to do certain things.
Yeah, the
That was
way
it.
it was worded, it was intimidating. It's like, if you don't do things the way we expect you to do them, without actually specifying too much detail, if you don't do the right things, we'll take the money back.
Right.
And it
that's-
was at our sole discretion. That was the really, really devious part. I don't know how any mayor would sign an agreement like that, even if it's Zuckerbuck. I don't care even if somebody honest. Of course, I don't think anybody honest would really offer a thing like that. But the cities, these cities that took the money, had to perform this agreement the way that Zuckerberg said it had to be performed, and they could take it back under their sole discretion about whether it was
Right.
done right or not.
And what
That's
this,
an
and
amazing
how they passed it through the city of Racine, or at least through Cory Mason, who was the ringleader, and that's really what this complaint says, that he was the ringleader. But they brought it through with the idea that he has to fulfill this contract, but it would be on a safe voter plan, which was more or less because of the pandemic. But what happened was it went beyond that. It went into advertising, it went into hiring, it went into a lot of different things, and they brought people in to administer.
Well, that's the egregious part, where it opened the door for somebody to come in, an independent party,
Right.
or not an official anyway, not an elected official,
Right.
to come in and basically co-opt the control of the election.
Doc, it was a member of the Zuckerberg organization that came in.
Well,
I
it
don't know
was
if
one
he
that was funded, CTCL, Center for Tech and
Well, that was the
Civic Life.
Zuckerberg organization.
Yeah. Right.
That
Well, no,
Set up
they've
the
been
group,
around
the
a
front
while.
group.
It's not
funded
just
it.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
It was like their money came in.
their money.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the point was is that the organization came in to make sure, had the agreement was they had to spend it right, or else at our sole discretion we'll ask for it back. They went further than that. They said, we're going to make sure you spend it right.
Yeah.
We're sending somebody in to do it. And it got to the point where this representative had the keys to where the voting
Green
machines
Bay,
were.
Green Bay.
So you want to get in there, you got to go to this guy for the not the
bad
clerk.
precedent. Bad
Well,
precedent.
and the open records request that Hot Government had asked is asked for that stuff in Racine. Not only that, the Voter Alliance, the Amistad Project, and one of the things that was kind of interesting in an article that was written about this complaint filed on Cory Mason. The Journal Times has asked for.
Oh, the Journal Times has an open records request.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
That should be a good one.
Oh, yeah, very thorough.
On March 25th, which is a week after Hot Government asked for it, the Journal Times filed an open records request with the city of Racine requesting its contract and or other agreements it made with CTCL. That request remains unfilled. You're asking for the contract. We got the contract. We already had the contract. 3 weeks ago we had the contract. I mean, the contract isn't that hard to find. So what you're telling me is you're really not investigating. You're making it look like you're investigating, but they're not investigating.
Yeah.
So this whole article that they wrote is kind of a joke. It really is. If you really want to do the investigating, find out. Because there's some stuff in here that, and I was there, the Brown County clerk, who was retired, her name's Sandy Juneau, she was there and she spoke, and she brought up a lot of things that were, the details, and she actually handed out her press release, which was a 2-pager. We actually
Well,
have
she
it.
was kind of distraught by the whole thing.
Right.
It was like somebody came in and just took over.
It's her job to run that
Right,
county election.
yeah.
The city of Green Bay has a clerk to run that. And they infiltrated that, is what you're saying. And then, of course, Green Bay goes, and the attorney in Green Bay does apparently statements from the Green Bay that says, "Oh, the mayor was involved, and this was." I mean, she basically rolled on the thinking she was protecting him, because you can't run a campaign out of a mayor's office. You can't run it with private infiltrators or private money. It's run by the clerk, and it's a statute run by the clerk. So there's multiple violations in Racine. I'm sure in Green Bay. I'm sure in Racine. I'm sure in all the cities are going to find the same kind of problem.
Yeah. I want to just look. I was looking for that statute here, Wisconsin Statute 730. It says only election officials appointed under the state law may conduct an election. Now this is not part of the state law, this is a commentary on that. Mayors cannot legally run elections. You hear that,
Right.
Tara? Cory can't run that election. Special interest groups cannot run the election. And I think that's important that our city clerk, Tara Coolidge, particularly understand that. That election is run by you. It is not run by Cory Mason, and I'm afraid that she has been a bit of a tool of Cory Mason. And when we get into all the emails and stuff on open records requests, she may have a lot to hide. We might have had some real obstruction in trying to get the real information from that.
I personally don't have a problem. If somebody's got a lot of money and they want to come in and they want to share the expense, they want to give some of their money to a municipality or whatever to run the elections, fine. Give the money and get the hell out of the way. You don't come in and you put a contract out that says you got to do it my way or I'm going to take the money back. If the contract had said we're going to give you this money, but you have to run a legal election, you have to follow all of the laws and statutes, or we'll take the money back. But that's not what they did. And it was like, do it our way, or we're going to take the money back.
Right. And one of the things that was put in that agreement was that if they get the $100,000, they can't cut back on any expenditures they were going to use by taxpayers' money.
Right.
If I would say, yeah, if they want to take $100,000 and they decide, well, thank you for the $100,000, we'll cut back on our expenses by $100,000. We'll leave it in the general fund, and we'll just use that money instead of the other money.
Well, let's not confuse people. You're saying $100,000, and that's
a
lot of money. But how much was it? It was like $4 million.
900. Well, it was $6.3 million among the 5 cities. Racine was around $1 million.
Yeah, it was a lot of bucks.
Yeah, $1 million.
A lot of bucks.
It was big money, but
I just wanted to emphasize.
It's not little money; it's big money. And I think that's what made them sign that contract. Oh boy, we got
yeah. So that could have been it.
Yeah,
they didn't even see the words. All they're looking at is the money.
And I mean, it's arrogance. There's a certain amount of arrogance. There's a certain amount of we're just going to let this go through, and it worked this time for us. Now, one of the things I want to kind of bring up, and we didn't really talk about this, was when I was down there, you had the Republican Party kind of pushing this complaint. Now, I agree the complaint should definitely be filed. They were part of the complainants, or the plaintiffs were, one of them was the member of the Republican Party. But here's where I'm going. You have violations of statutes. There's going to be no doubt about it. Green Bay definitely has it.
Yeah.
Racine, there's enough from what Green Bay emails to actually get violations in Racine currently.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I don't think, personally, my feelings are the Republican Party is throwing this up like, oh, look at what we're going to do over here. They're not going to go after any criminal charges, I don't think.
No.
They're going to just make this.
They just want to look like the good guys.
It's a look like they're doing something.
Public relations thing.
Exactly.
They're the good guys.
So when you talk about Democrats and you talk about Republicans, there's not a heck of a lot of difference in my mind between the two. It's a game that's played back and forth, and the sad thing is, it's the citizens that are stuck in the middle here.
You want to know what the difference is?
I don't. I'd like to know, what is it?
Me too. I'd like to
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah. But I think that's kind of what's played here. Now, as far as citizens groups and citizens should be, they should be demanding that there's some criminal charges. In Green Bay, and I'm not talking
I
about
would
throwing.
love that.
You'll stop this kind of crap when you start putting people.
It's got to be out. When somebody does something in traffic that's really crazy.
You mean like driving while you're taking a movie?
Yeah, something like that. If they violate the law and a cop sees it, he just writes a ticket. Nobody has to sue the state to get that driver a ticket. And I think they have a simpler thing than that, where you have to go to court in order. If Tara Coolidge or Cory Mason was violating the law here, we shouldn't have to go to court to get that to happen. Somebody shouldn't have to privately sue. Somebody should just go over and say, well, like the DNR does when somebody shoots a deer. Nobody has to. No environmentalist has to come up and say, I saw him shot the deer. I'm going to sue the state to get him to pay $1,000 or something.
Right.
He gets fined.
Right.
It's right in the statutes. And
you can lose your gun, your car, your house.
No,
they can.
I think
when you're talking about millions of
voting law is
dollars,
just as important as killing animals, and
Yeah.
I think it should be the same thing. It should be
a
there.
lot of people that think the same way. But again, I don't know. It gets to be this. We're looking more for headlines than we are for correcting a problem. This problem needs to be corrected. You cannot take private money, inject it right down into a clerk's office, and then have a contract to explain what we expect for this money.
By the way, Doc and I kind of agree with the idea of private money. As long as it's no strings attached. But Jim really needs to express his opinion too. He's got a really good opinion.
Yeah, my opinion is it should be taxpayers' money injected into that clerk's office and no private money whatsoever. There's so much money that goes into that clerk office by head count in the city, the county, whatever it might be. You get so much money, you run the election on that. If you need more, then next year.
So if someone wants to give you $1 million to help you run an election,
Nope.
Jim says can't take it.
Nope.
I just want you guys to know out there that opinion's here too. We all three didn't agree on that one. So whichever opinion you take, it's represented here. We're equal opportunity talking Racine.
I like money with no strings.
I do.
Yeah.
I do too.
I just
In
think
fact,
there's
I'd
too
rather
much.
get it anonymously.
Yeah, well,
if I came home tonight and there was an envelope on my porch, with like $1,000 in it, and it was like just anonymously donated, I would have no problem.
Keep
with
up the good work on talking Racine.
Yeah, there you go.
$1,000.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Hey, you never know.
Do we dream on? Have we got anything more to dream about? Yeah.
We can dream about face masks. Dream about not wearing them. I walked out of a restaurant this morning without my face mask.
Whoa.
I wore it on the way in, and
I'll be honest with
Dave, you notice that when you get into a restaurant, you take it off, you order your food, you eat your food, put your mask back on, and leave.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, Chuck, I walk in the restaurant without the mask, I eat my food, I don't put the mask back on, I walk out without the mask because I don't wear a mask. I know the city of Racine has the ordinance. I really don't function like a heck of a lot in Racine because I don't like.
You're going to get somebody trailing you now.
Yeah, whatever. But one of the things, the city of Racine is one of the, I think, the only one now left in the.
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
We're the only city
Really?
or only municipality, I believe it is.
Correct.
In the whole state?
In the county,
Yeah.
In the
that
county.
still
I
has
think pretty
a
close to
Dottie
those
Bowersox that
Yeah.
thinks she needs to treat us all like her pet and tell us
Yeah.
when and where we can wear a mask.
Well, one of the things that's they're changing the ordinance, and he talked about no scarves and whatever.
Yeah,
they're going to eliminate those. You need to wear a
we're
real
going to
mask.
clean this act up here, man.
But one of the things that says, giving a religious, political, or media artistic speech. So what this really came down to, my thought, is Cory says, I'm sick of wearing this mask when I have to go out and talk because they can't hear what I'm saying. So I get to take it off now. I think this is a personal ordinance change, and of course, the Common Council just, that's a good way to go.
I don't.
That's bullshit. If anybody should be wearing a mask, it's political people.
Well, I agree, but this is what they're. This is.
I think mayors, when you're the mayor, mayor of any of the largest city in the county, I think then you should have to wear a mask at all times.
24/7,
Yeah.
George.
Full face mask.
Yeah, full face mask.
In a bodysuit.
Anyway.
Well, now you had a couple of articles that actually discussed this mask issue, and
well, I mean, it's coming more and more that masks are, are they really preventing? I don't know.
Well, here's a new study casts more doubts on effectiveness of masks in preventing COVID-19 spread. While disappointing, the results are not particularly surprising. So, in other words, it's not like this is the answer.
Well, you know what I think the mask does is it keeps people conscious of the fact that there's an infectious disease roaming around. I don't know how much.
Sorta.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes I just walk in and the minute I put on, I have a whole different attitude. I think, man, in Roman times, the slaves had to wear an armband around, a white armband.
So, are you sure about that?
So you knew
I wasn't there.
So you knew. I was there.
I got one thing.
Right. So you knew who they were. The point was that you knew who they were. We have a new armband now. It's called a face mask. And we can
One thing I want to do is say is last week on our episode 222, we interviewed Stan Anderson, who I thought did a great job. He's donating. He's got the fund and he's been donating money to a restaurant.
He's doing an amazing job.
We had a
of
good
helping out
conversation.
restaurants and
I really
bars,
enjoyed the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been scuttlebutt that he may run for mayor.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah, somebody did mention that.
Yeah.
I think John mentioned that. He
Yeah.
said you make a good mayor. And
He would. He might not know a lot, but if we could hook him up with someone like Sandy Widener as his city administrator, boy, would we have a power duo, right?
Yeah.
In other words, she's got the experience, the know-how, the
Years
communication
of
lines,
experience,
all
yep.
the stuff of how it runs. And then you have a guy up there, instead of telling us how bad things are and how racist we are and whatever other problems we are so terrible, that just look at last week's program. That's 222.
Yep.
Just remember, 3 deuces, and you can get a good look at him, and just think, what would it be to have a guy like that?
Yeah, he's a promoter,
He's
and
your mayor.
like
He's a
Doc said,
promoter. He's a tremendous
a
person.
mayor really is a representation of the city.
Yeah,
you want
he's the
somebody
figurehead.
positive, yeah. And the guy's got a great attitude. I think he'd be.
When you talk to him, when I sat down and first met him, I hadn't talked to someone like that in a long, long time. Just when he starts to talk to you, you just suddenly feel this presence.
You feel engaged.
Yeah. And he's talking to you, and you're talking to him, and it's just a different experience.
How do your
with
normal
someone like that.
conversations
Well, you
go?
never know it, George. It could be different.
No, I mean,
I get it.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, no.
Are you talking to me?
Everybody's an experience, but this
Yeah.
is a particular
No, he's
different kind when you're talking to someone that has this promoter type of thing. Most people, they're
There's not
enjoyable.
a lot of guys like him.
No,
There's
I know.
not.
It's a very enjoyable. You guys, almost anybody I talk to, I like.
Well, he engages.
But once in a
you.
while, someone comes in and he's got this particular personality, and you say, "Whoa, this guy is," he's got some strength,
Yep.
extra strength. in
Yeah,
that-
no,
in that
he
presentation.
engages. Yeah, and that's what you need. You need a mayor. You need to engage the community. You need to, create a positive force, a pride of ownership, and that's what he does. The mayor we have does not.
He
put
would
that
represent the city in
Yep.
a very good light.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, when you've got somebody like that at the helm, it just becomes more enjoyable.
Right.
It does.
You
It
know,
does. You have more confidence
Being a city
in the
in a
community
city
and stuff. Yeah.
that's led by somebody like that is just simply more enjoyable.
As opposed to somebody that's hiding in an office that he's got built up with this little throne out there, you know, and to come in, you come in with the
Bunch
most
of
humble
assistants.
bowing, you know, and all this type of stuff, you know, and boy, you're lucky if you can even get to talk to him. Lucky, you know, in other words, he did answer your communication, whereas someone, you know, it would like Stan would be really open, and you would know immediately that you were welcome there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing that a personality like Cory has is good for is like begging for dollars. You go to the federal government, you go to the DNR, you go here, there, and everywhere, and it's like, well, we really have problems.
Well, you insulate yourself with those dollars.
We
too,
really
though.
need
dole them out.
Really
and
need some help.
Create power.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, Jim, we got a program that we could use your help with.
Right. instead of engaging people power like Stan does with his
No, see, I don't think you see Stan doing it. I think he would. I think the city would begin to generate itself, the strength that is there. We know the strength is there just looking at his program. I mean, this is a difficult group to promote. Bartenders, I think.
Bartenders, restaurants, that type of thing.
It's not like little crippled children or something like that. They see a lot of causes for that.
Hey, before this turns into a full-blown campaign, let's call it a day.
Yeah.
We've covered our topics. We got things coming up in the future that you're going to want to know about. You're going to want to come back and stay in touch. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.